Because earlier you've said on a few interviews that if this goes well into March and April, you're concerned that this could hurt the Democratic nominee going against presumably John McCain in the fall. How worried are you if this process drags on the Democratic side?
Well, I don't think I've ever said that if it goes into March and April, I'd be worried that we're going to lose. What I have said is if we have a divided convention, then we're really going to have a problem. But look, John McCain is a flawed candidate. Here's a guy who is a typical situational ethicist. He runs on his integrity, but he doesn't seem to have any. We're familiar with the fact that he got on the ballot in Ohio with what now turns out to be false pretenses. He qualified because he was taking public financing, and now he says he's not going to. He doesn't have the permission of the FEC to do that. And just this week, he refused to denounce and reject John Hagee, a militant anti-Catholic right-wing pastor. And John McCain has a history of doing what it takes, regardless of what the ethics of this are. I think he's going to be a flawed candidate. I don't think people want 4 more years of what essentially is George Bush.
You raised the issue of the public financing, which he's now suggesting he's not necessarily going to want going into the fall campaign, even though earlier he suggested that's exactly what he wanted. But he also cites precedent in saying he can change his mind, including something that you did. I'll play a little soundbite from Senator McCain and get your reaction. Well, I'll read it to you then. Let me read it to you. He said this. He said, "What we're doing is exactly what Howard Dean did in the previous election and what the FEC ruled in the case of Congressman Gephardt, so I have no doubt about the eventual outcome."
Let me read you this. Based on your letter, the Commission has withdrawn its certification to the Secretary of Treasury that Howard Dean and Dean for America is entitled to payment. John McCain doesn't have that letter. And John McCain is already most likely exceeding his spending limit. He has material gain, which we did not, because he got on the ballot under false pretenses in Ohio and a couple of other states. And he used the money for collateral for a loan. He said that he told the banks that he would apply for public financing. So that is a lie. What John McCain's saying is simply not true. And this is a long-term pattern with John McCain. Let's not forget, this is the John McCain that took $100,000 in campaign contributions and flew on corporate jets for the savings and loan magnate Charles Keating, who's now serving jail time, or was serving jail time. This is not the John McCain that he says he is not who John McCain is. He's a situational ethicist, very much like George Bush. He thinks it's great to stay in Iraq for 100 years, thought it was terrific that George Bush vetoed children's health care. I don't want 12 more years of George Bush, and I think the vast majority of the American people don't want 12 more years of George Bush, or I mean 4 more years of George Bush, and I think that's what John McCain offers us.
How worried are you that the sniping that's going on between the 2 Democratic presidential candidates could backfire? Some of that material could be used by John McCain and his supporters in the fall. I'll play a little example of some of this sniping that's been going on between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama.
The sky will open. The light will come down. Celestial choirs will be singing. And everyone will know we should do the right thing and the world will be perfect. You are not going to wave a magic wand and have the special interests disappear.
You think, oh, you know, he thinks that the clouds will part and, you know, he's so naive. He is, wait. Oh, he thinks he can wave a magic wand and suddenly everything will be great.
Is this a source of concern to you, the kind of back and forth we're seeing?
That's an issue about arguing over who is whether inspiration or experience or whether they have who has what. That is not the kind of ethics problem that John McCain has. John McCain has a problem with personal integrity. He has a problem of saying one thing and doing another. What about John Hagee? What about a guy who's a vicious anti-Catholic who is supporting John McCain, and John McCain does not denounce or reject him, as Barack Obama did to Louis Farrakhan? That is the kind of stuff that really bothers Americans. People arguing over philosophy is not a problem. We can have our disagreements with John McCain. Maybe people want to stay in Iraq for 100 years. That's fair game. But what people will not elect somebody who they don't think is honest. And I don't think that John McCain has made a case for his honesty.